And then people say to take DHA, EPA from memory. Dr. Furman says that he's treated a lot of vegans and some of them got dementia, and he believes it was because of that. So do you agree that we should all take B12 and DHA, EPA? And what other nutritional supplements would you advise if our goal is to make sure our memory and mind stay good?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dr. Furman, and I would add vitamin D. I would add other things, but I would add vitamin D to that list too, because
Well, I have some problems.
most people I see are deficient in vitamin D. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some problems with DHA EPA supplementation. These are 5 and 6 times desaturated. They are the most fragile fatty acids with regard to rancidity of any of the fatty acids. And when they are made, they become rancid. One study looked at South African factories where they made fish oil. A lot of the fish oil is made there. And they found that 91% was rancid at the factory. Before it's bottled, shipped, stored, goes to your cabinet, it's going to be rancid. Rancid DHA is going to create DNA adducts and increase your risk of cancer. Okay, but we do want to make DHA in our bodies, right? We can do that. So the key is, the other problem, of course, pollution. These fish oils are the most polluted with polychlorinated biphenyls, polybrominated diphenyl ethers, organochlorines like lindane, aldrin, dieldrin, heptachlor, all of those. So we really don't want to eat fish oil at all because of the pollution and the rancidity. Now, algae gets around the pollution. Fish don't make these things, they get it from algae. And so you have algal-based DHA and EPA, you can get around the pollution, but it's still rancid. Okay, is there another way we can have adequate DHA and EPA in our brains? Yes, there is. I have a whole chapter in my book, Fats and Oils Demystified. It's also under $10 on my website, drsteveblake.com, complete with quizzes and all that. We make it from the essential omega-3, alpha-linolenic acid. This alpha-linolenic acid is made into, the first step is a delta-6 desaturase that makes it, instead of 3 times, 4 times desaturated, then elongates, makes it from 18 to 20, and then delta-5 desaturated, which reaches down from the 20 to the 15 point, and now it's EPA. There it is. We just made it. Now, in order to make EPA, we need certain nutrients. Okay, we've got to have enough B3, B6, B12, vitamin E. These are crucial in order to make it. We also need certain minerals. And there's a list of minerals in my book. It's, manganese and iron, calcium, magnesium are needed. So if we have adequate nutrition, we can easily make enough. Now, it's been pointed out that vegans have lower blood DHA than the ones who are taking the DHA. But it can also be pointed out that people who eat cholesterol have higher cholesterol, and people who don't eat cholesterol have lower cholesterol in their blood. Is that a bad thing? No. We make what we need of the EPA and DHA. You see, we have a balance. Arachidonic acid is made from the omega-6 essential fatty acid, linoleic acid, a very similar 3-step process. And our bodies will make these two in the correct balance if we don't eat any externally, okay? If you eat too much EPA and DHA, what's the problem? Suppression of immune function. This means cancer. This means infections. This means reaction to stings, venomous bites, all of that. So we need the perfect balance, and that can be achieved by eating flaxseed and other sources of omega-3 in the essential form, which is alpha-linolenic acid. I don't want to overtake my time here, but I needed to say that.
So just to go back to all that, so in order to get B3, B6, B12, vitamin E, calcium, magnesium to make DHA, EPA, you're saying to have flax seeds, or are you saying more than that?
Oh, the flax seeds only supply the omega-3 that you're starting with. And then you're going to get all of those other nutrients, hopefully through your diet, although supplementation is a possibility.
So in terms of the end action we should take, what should we eat? What should we supplement with in order to make sure that our DHA, EPA is adequate?
Well, there are personally, when I did the Hawaii dementia prevention study, we had supplements made for the people. And the people who couldn't get into the study really wanted those supplements, but they were only for the participants. We couldn't do anything. So I decided, okay, I'll make some. And I worked with a manufacturer. It was extremely difficult for them to use real vitamin E. It costs more than everything else in the whole vitamin, which is why none of the vitamin manufacturers use real vitamin E. Instead, they use the harmful synthetic all-racemic alpha tocopherol, which is a real problem because half of the 8 isomers in that do not have any antioxidant capability. So they'll go up to your brain and implant and stick their little fatty tail into a brain cell to protect it from oxidation and cell death, but they don't work. It's like a rent-a-cop with a plastic gun and no bullets. It doesn't work. So you're basically, by taking supplementary fake vitamin E, you're not helping yourself. So you would need to find a supplement with real vitamin E. I take one because I make it and I know it's real. It's called Brain and Body Food, and it has most of what we gave in the study, all I could cram into it. But it also has all of the B vitamins, and it has a special form of folate too. I'll say, if you're going to supplement, if you eat plenty of beans and greens, you don't need to eat any folate. However, if you're going to supplement folate, most of it is in the form of folic acid, which is a synthetic chemical that can increase our cancer risk, is never found in nature or in the human body unless it's manufactured and we take it as a pill. So I'd recommend that your supplements not contain folic acid, but the real folate. And so that's what I use, only that. Similarly, each of the vitamins and each of the minerals need to be in the exact correct form and quantity to fill in those things. So first of all, I analyze my own diet and other people. I look to see if we're getting everything we need. And I note that us vegans, us 3 here probably, do not get enough calcium. Okay, I average maybe 500 to 600 milligrams of calcium a day, and 800 would be the bare minimum for reasonable protein vegans. So some calcium supplementation is a good idea. I don't get any iodine in my diet unless I eat seaweed. I don't eat it that often, so put iodine in there. Iron is not a problem, so I don't put iron in there. If you were pregnant woman or after an injury, you might need some iron, but most people don't, especially over 50. So you have to look at the nutrients, each single one. There are, for instance, 4 minerals that are needed for antioxidant enzymes: zinc, copper, manganese, and selenium. Zinc, copper, and manganese for superoxide dismutase, a powerful antioxidant used in our brain and everywhere in our body to protect us from oxidation. And selenium for glutathione peroxidase, one of the most powerful ones. And of course, vitamin C has to be there to recharge vitamin E. Most of the studies on vitamin E don't give the people also vitamin C to recharge the vitamin E. It can only detoxify one time, and then it needs vitamin C to come along and reduce it, and then it can do it again. So in other words, you need a comprehensive, very well-designed multiple vitamin. And the only one I can find that I really like is the one I make, the Brain and Body Food. I've certainly looked at a lot of others. Some are really terrible and some are almost okay.
And if we take an algae oil that claims that they do everything to make it not rancid, and they use the highest systems to prevent any kind of rancidity and decay, is that an option?
That would be
Yes,
the
I mean,
best of the
that's
preformed EPA, DHA, yes.
Yeah, and that's what I recommend. And I recommend you go with a brand where you can actually look at the analysis for the batch that you're about to take or buy and make sure it's not rancid. And to Dr. Steve's point, I would not recommend fish oils because most of them are rancid. And I would also encourage people, if you are going to supplement with algae oil, to keep it refrigerated so that it doesn't become more rancid.
Refrigerated in a dark container. Light, heat, and oxygen create rancidity. It's difficult.
Do the 2 of you take EPA, DHA oil
I
right
do.
now?
I do, yes.
No, I certainly don't. And I have no need for it because I get all of those nutrients it takes to make my own EPA, and DHA is made in a very similar way. And I get adequate alpha-linolenic acid. And very important point, I don't take in excess omega-6. because the omega-6 competes for that delta-6 desaturase, and that is the limiting enzyme in creating the EPA in the body. So this is my system, and it's based on the best science, and all explained in my textbook, Fats and Oils Demystified, in great detail. A whole chapter on the making of vitamin EPA in the human body.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is the average American diet has way too much omega-6 to compare to omega-3.
Yeah, and even a lot of vegan diets too. Yeah, you have to make an effort to do that, but it's certainly not a problem. Most of those omega-6 excesses come from oils, especially in fried foods. And so if you're not eating the fried foods and the oils, it's much easier to get a reasonable amount of omega-6. When I analyze diets by vegans, I find that most of them are not getting excessive amounts of omega-6. It's pretty, I have a balanced ratio. The perfect ratio should be about 3 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3.